Alright, it's time to make some refrigerator pickles. This is a recipe found in Aajonus.online's book, Recipe for Living Without Disease. And these are dill pickles. So the ingredients are raw apple cider vinegar, raw honey, fresh dill weed, and natural mineral water. And the ratios are a half a cup of raw apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of raw honey, 2 tablespoons of fresh dill weed, half a cup of natural mineral water to top it off. And you'll kind of experiment around with these using, basically you'll have to either double or quadruple or do whatever you got to do depending on how many cucumbers you're putting in here. So alright, this is first what I do is I lay them out and then I wash them. Now, when you're salt brining pickles, you want to cut off this tip right here. Not this tip, but the other end. They suggest cutting that off because it keeps the pickle from like getting too soft. Now, I don't know if you have to do that with refrigerator pickles or not, but I just do it anyways because I have a habit of doing it when I was doing my salt brine pickles. But I don't do the salt brine pickles anymore because they were just way too salty. And I like these a lot better. I like the vinegar taste. So this is now my favorite recipe here. So what I do is I cut off that little tip. And then I cut all my pickles up into the size that I want them. So I like to use these quart jars. So I figure probably about halfway, if I cut this cucumber in half, it should fit fine. So what I do is I cut it in half and then in quarters, just in pickle sizes. Just like that, make your pickles. That'll fit in there perfect. So cut everything up into pickle sizes. Alright, once you got your pickles all cut up into the size that you want, you want to go ahead and start mixing up your apple cider vinegar in your blender with your dill weed. And yeah, I know there's a lot of cucumbers here, but I like to make big batches at a time because these things last at least 2 months in the fridge, so you might as well make at least a couple months worth. So, and I like to eat a lot of pickles. So alright, so I'm going to start mixing up my apple cider vinegar. Alright, so the ratio is a half a cup of cider vinegar to a half a teaspoon of raw honey to 2 tablespoons of fresh dill weed. So what I'm going to do is I know I'm going to need at least probably 4 times this amount. So I'm just going to start out with 2 cups of apple cider vinegar and 8 tablespoons of fresh dill weed and then 2 teaspoons of raw honey, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to pour out my apple cider vinegar, raw unpasteurized of course. Alright, we'll go ahead and pour this in the blender. Add your dill weed, add your raw honey, and blend it all up. Then now you fill up your jar with your cut cucumbers. And just cram them in there best you can. Just about getting full here, maybe one more. That should be about good. And then now you just want to fill it up here with what you just blended up. Sometimes the dill weed kind of sits on top, but so you just want to fill it up. There, so it looks like almost to the top here. This recipe fills up about 1 jar, it looks like. So, and I got plenty more to make here, but I just wanted to give you guys the kind of basic recipe and the ratios that you need on how to make it, and you just make more as you need to go. But that's what you do. You just fill it up, put a lid on it. I prefer plastic, and then you want to shake it up a little bit, kind of distribute the dill weed around, and that's it, man. Throw it in the fridge and it's ready to eat in 24 hours. Should store for about up to 2 months. There you go. There's your refrigerator pickles.